All right, girls. So this video is really meant to serve as a review of all of our defenses for our players from last year coming back, and kind of an introduction to some of our newer players to go over all of our different defenses, or at least the ones that we use most often. Some of the things that we do inside those defenses, and some mistakes that we often make that hurt the defense or help the offense break it down. Um, we're going to use video from last year, pulled out about 15 clips from different games from last year to show you some of this stuff visually. Hopefully this is helpful for a lot of you as we continue working on these things in the off season and then into the start of this season. So the first thing we're going to do is just kind of run through the different defenses, show you the spots on the field, show you how they play out, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So the first defense, the one that we use really most often, is our red defense, our backer zone. And you can see it diagrammed here in our defensive playbook. You'll all have a copy of this. Our returners already do, but I'm going to reshare it with everybody again. This is what the defense looks like as far as a diagram on the field. You see the two elbows, obviously on the elbow, the two low post defenders, our backer in the middle, and the two top defenders here. Take special note here that the zones are not circles or squares. They're actually kind of like pies or pieces of a pie going all the way down to the crease. Also in our red defense, we have this thing that we refer to as a double zone behind the goal. We'll show you that also in video as well. In the playbook, there's, it breaks it all down, gives you the rules and the responsibilities of the defense and what everybody should be doing to kind of work together to make it work. But let's look at some video of it. So this is the first clip to show you visually what the positions on the field look like. So you can see it right here, diagrammed. You have the two low posts, one down here, one over here. Our two elbows that are camped out on the elbow, our two top defenders right here, this one, and our backer. And the backer just follows the ball around the field, providing support to the player on the ball, and it allows the player on the ball to press out on the ball, get some pressure without fear of getting beaten in open space. So we're going to take a look at letting this run here. And you can see everybody kind of just moving around. You see the low post on the ball there. And you see the elbows coming down when the ball's behind it. We'll take another look at it in a later clip in the same game. You see the positions will be diagrammed again. Low post, an elbow here, out on the elbow, right? She's ball side, so she's out on the elbow. The backside elbow is here. She's going to work her way down into this area. And here are two top defenders and the backer chasing the ball around the field, providing support to the player on the ball. One of the things that you can see in this video, and we'll take a look at it again. Let's just rewind a little bit. One of the things that you can see is that really we have all these different positions, right? So we have our two low posts. They're always working together. Everybody's working in pairs. So the low posts are working in a pair. The elbow here and this backside elbow here is working in a pair. And the two top defenders are working together. And you'll see them as the ball moves around, them working together. This low post is here. That means this low post has to come over to this side of the field or this side of the goal to clean up any confusion that's on that side of the goal. As the ball presses out, you see this elbow now is going to approach the ball. The ball's in her zone. This elbow is going to be working her way back inside to help out with the inside. Everybody's always thinking about what's happening inside. And even when the ball's in your zone, you're playing the ball, but you're always going to be thinking about, okay, what's going to be happening on the inside here when I'm on the ball? As the ball moves away, I have to check into the inside and see what I can do to help. See, this is a good example of that right here. This top defender has a cutter. She's going to pass her off to the low post. You see it right here. You see the elbow coming in, the low post coming in. all because this top defender had the cutter with her, and she passed her off to the next kid. One of the other things that we talk about a lot is we talk about ball side of the defense and the off ball side or the back side of the defense. We're going to spend a little more time on this in a little bit, but it's important that we use the same terminology, right? So we talk about ball side. So these defenders here, this low post, this elbow, and this top defender, they are on the ball side. So their concern is providing adjacent support, making sure that they're out on their adjacent players in their zones, and the backside are off-ball players. See the backside low post here, the backside elbow here, and the backside top defender here. They're all of them have their sticks to the inside. They're all worried about helping out with the inside when they're off-ball. All right, so we're going to get out of this video now and take a look at one of our other defenses. This is going to be our spy defense. We call it purple. And it basically, in this one, we just replaced a backer with a spy. And that spy, her whole responsibility is covering cutters that are coming in and out of the 8. She has no on-ball responsibility. She has no help responsibility. Her only responsibility is really cleaning up any cutters that are coming through the 8. So this is our spy defense here. I think we have it diagrammed in a second with the different positions. But you can see we have an elbow here on the ball, one of the low posts here, this low post recovering, she was just on the ball, a top defender here, and there's another top defender that we can't see in the frame, but she's up in here. This is our spy. So she was the backer, now she's a spy. She's not worried about providing any support to the ball. All she's doing is looking inside and trying to clean up any cutters that are coming in through the 8. Again, this is what we call our purple defense. So you can see it mapped out for us here, our 2 low posts, our 2 elbows, our 2 top defenders, and the spy in the middle. And I think in this one, you actually have a really good example of how this works. You see this elbow, this cutter comes off of the elbow. The elbow's going to go with her. And you can make out and see that she's communicating with the spy, letting her know that there's a cutter here. Feed goes to the inside just as the spy gets to her, and we cause a turnover. So let's just go back one more time and look at those positions mapped out for us. So the zones don't change. It's still low post, elbow, elbow, top, and top. And instead of the backer, we have a spy that's working only on the inside. And the third defense that we're going to take a look at here is what we call our orange defense. And it's kind of a combination of the two, the spy and the backer. So it's a combination of purple and red, where we kind of change up the way the zones are set up. So we change up the way the zones are set up. You'll see it diagrammed in a second. And instead of having just a backer or just a spy, we have both. So we still have our 2 low post defenders. Here's one here. Here's one here. Our 2 elbows, 1 elbow here. This elbow is behind this player. You can just kind of make her out there. And instead of having 2 top defenders, we only have 1. So what that means is that these zones get much bigger. However, we don't really have to worry about those zones being too much bigger because we're putting pressure on the ball, which we're allowed to do because we have a backer, right? Here's our backer. And we have a spy who's worried about the cutters on the inside. So with those 2 people really helping out, it allows us to always put pressure on the ball so the girl can't stand there and just feed the inside, and the spy kind of clogs up anything that's going to happen in the middle. We have one more look at it here. This is our orange defense. It's our backer spy. We have the spy and the backer working in this defense. And this one's going to be diagrammed again. You can see it kind of develop. We have our low post here. We have our backer here, an elbow. And here's the spy again, just looking at the inside. You see, this is a great example of how this should really look. this spy is not looking at the ball. She's not looking at the zone. The only thing she's doing is she's going to clear the 8 every 3 seconds, make sure she's not getting a 3-second foul, and she's constantly looking to the inside to see if there's any cutters coming in. It takes a lot of communication by the off-ball players here, this off-ball elbow, this off-ball low post, and telling the spy if there's any cutters coming into the middle of the field. And then we have one more game where we used the orange defense quite a bit. We have it diagrammed also in this game. So you can see it here. We're in blue, and we're in white in this game. So here's the spy again, looking into the middle. Our backer here, allowing us to apply pressure to the ball. You have a low post, one of the elbows here, another elbow here, and the top defender. That she has a really big zone, and this is a good look at it here. The ball's here. She's worried about the ball side adjacent player. Now this girl, she's going to end up filling all of this open space, but we don't have to worry about that as much because, again, we have the spy that's going to clean that up for us. And we should always be applying pressure to the ball. See, we get out on the ball. Pressure on the ball is always the key in these defenses because we don't want to give them a chance to look to the inside and find any open players. So those are 3 of our main defenses. There's a couple others, but those are a lot easier to kind of work in without a lot of diagrams and without a lot of video. They're significantly easier for us to kind of put in on the field. So we're going to take a look now at some of the special things that we do defensively. All right, so the first thing that we do defensively that's a little bit of a special like gadget thing. This is only in our red defense, our base backer zone defense. We call this SOAP, and it stands for shut off adjacent players. And this is something that we'll do based on scouting. If there's a particular matchup that we like a lot, maybe a player on the other team that we want to kind of exploit a matchup that we have. If we like the defender that the defender's matchup, and we think that we're significantly better at that matchup, what we'll do is we'll lock off the adjacent players and allow that defender to just put a lot of pressure on the ball and cause a turnover. So you'll see it here. This is a matchup that we like. This is never something that we just decide to do from out of nowhere. This is always something that we do based on scouting, watching film of other teams, seeing what our matchups look like. And if there's one that we know that we like a lot, we'll start using this defense. So again, we call it SOAP. We'll be yelling it from the sideline, or we know as soon as the ball gets to this player, we're going to do it. So you're going to see this adjacent elbow defender and this adjacent low post defender are going to run out and lock off their players. They're adjacent to the ball, meaning next to the ball. This was the matchup that we liked a lot. So you'll see how this plays out. She's going to put pressure on the ball, and the ball's on the ground. The girl had no outlet, right? So as the ball's getting there, she's looking. She wants to move the ball, but she really has no outlet because as she looks this way, we have our low post defender running out here. She sees that she's going to be covered by the time she can get her the ball. And I think she's going to look back this way also, and she'll see this elbow defender coming out on the ball. And the ball's on the ground, and we end up with a turnover. And we did that again in this same game, same matchup, I believe. I think this is an even better view of it here. So here's the matchup that we liked. We have this low post is going to lock off this girl. This elbow is going to lock off this girl. And you'll see it play out here. Puts a lot of pressure on the ball, and we're allowed to do this. Remember, because we're in the backer zone, we're able to do this because the backer is right here providing support to the ball. So we put a lot of pressure on the ball. She has nowhere to pass it. And again, the ball's on the ground, and we cause a turnover. Most times when we go into this SOAP defense, it resulted, I would say, at least 3/4 of the time when we used it last year, it would result in a turnover. and the ball going the other way for us. We have another example here of it. Again, this is a matchup that we liked, and we see it in scouting that we liked it. It was this one right here on this low attacker, this righty attacker with this low post defender. We lock off the adjacent players. We have the backer right here providing help to her. And you're going to see the girl is going to kind of scramble. She has nowhere to go with it, and get a good check, and the ball on the ground again, and another turnover for us. So that's our soap. It's something that we do only in the backer zone. It's not something that we can really do in any of the other defenses because we just don't have enough people in our orange defense, and we don't have enough pressure on the ball in the purple defense. All right, another thing that we do in our red defense, and we do it in this game also, we call this red lock. Now, what red lock is it's our it's our backer zone defense, our red defense. But instead of playing 7-on-7, we turn it into 6-on-6 by locking off one of their players. If we feel that we're playing a team like, let's say, Middle Country last year, or East Islip, obviously in this game last year, where we feel like there's one player that's they're by far their best offensive player, and most of the offense runs through that kid. What we'll do is we'll lock her off, taking her out of the offense, and just play 6-on-6, really, and play our backer zone. Now, what that means to us is we have a low post and a low post, just like our regular red defense. We have an elbow and an elbow, just like in our regular red defense. But we only have one top defender. So this zone, again, just like in that orange defense, this zone is going to get really big. But again, we're able to put a lot of pressure on the ball with kids that we feel are not as, don't handle the ball as well as the girl that we're locking off. Here's the one we're locking off right here. So you see she's locked off, and they're going to kind of struggle without her. Now, one of the things that happens, again, you can see this is ball side, this is off ball side. By only having one top defender, just like we saw in the orange defense, you end up with really big gaps here in the zone. So these off ball defenders have to be very, very aware of what's happening with cutters to the inside and helping out. But again, pressure on the ball is always a good thing, and it always helps us kind of clean up any problems that we might encounter by having such a large zone at the top of the defense. And here's another look at red lock. You can see our elbow coming out to the ball here. This girl back here behind the goal, you can just kind of make her out here as the one being locked off. And you're going to see our top defender here do a really nice job of getting down to the inside, helping out with what's happening on the inside. And our low post defender on the backside helping out on the inside as well. Backside and ball side is something we have to pay a lot of attention to, and we will in a little bit in this video. We actually end up, I think, intercepting this pass because our top defender is doing a nice job of filling up any passing lanes. So a lot of our defenses are designed to take options away from the offenses, to kind of dictate to them what they're allowed to do or what we're going to let them do. We're not going to play defense in a reactionary way. We don't play defense where we allow the offense to tell us what we're doing. We're always going to have defenses that are going to kind of dictate to them what they're allowed to do. And that helps us defensively cause a lot of turnovers and get more opportunities for our offense. The next thing we're going to take a look at is something that you saw in the diagram of the red defense. That's our double zone. So we said that behind the goal, we have this area we refer to as a double zone. It's right here, and we'll just run this back a little bit. So this area in here behind the goal, we refer to it as a double zone, and that's our two low posts. Basically have the green light to double the ball if there's only one player behind. And our low post will know this, something that we'll talk about a lot. And it's our elbows have to know that they have to come down and help out. And I think you'll see that in this clip here. So this girl has the ball. She's kind of scrambling, doesn't really know what to do. And as soon as you can kind of see it happen here. So we have one low post on the ball. And then we have this low post right in here. As soon as this attacker runs away from the play, takes herself out of the play, that frees up this low post to go double. And it's just another thing that we can do to create turnovers for ourselves. And there's double. The girl actually steps out of bounds, and we get the ball as a result. All right, and here's another look at the low post double zone. This offense that they're running really allows us to do it a lot because they only have one player in X. And you'll see it happen here as the ball is going to move around. The ball's right here. Comes around this way. And now this girl has it. She's going to drive, but then she's going to go to X. And you'll see this low post right here realizes that there's nobody in her zone. They're all kind of getting high. And that's going to free her up to go double the ball. So now we have a double. Now, one of the things that you'll notice here is this elbow doing a very good job of coming down to the goal line. This elbow doing a good job of coming down to the goal line. We have to do that if we're going to be able to do these things. So they double the ball and the girl ends up running away. They're able to get the ball out, but because we're in the backer zone and our backer does a great job of just holding here and allowing everybody else to kind of regroup, and they take their time setting back up again. So again, it's so much of what we do is predicated on putting pressure on the ball. All right, we talked before. We're going to take a look at some of the problems or some of the mistakes that we might make defensively that could hurt us in the defenses that we use most often. We talked before about ball side and backside, and what you're going to see in a few clips here is why that's so important to understand, and why our top defenders and our elbow defenders really have to work very hard at doing what we call is setting the edge. And that is making sure if the ball is on one side of the field, keep it on that one side of the field. Only really let them change sides of the field behind the goal. And so we're going to take a look here at why that's so important and how that can hurt us defensively. So as the ball moves around here, again, we're going to outline here ball side and backside. So we have a ball side top defender, ball side elbow, ball side low post. We have an off ball side elbow right here working her way to the inside, off ball side low post all the way in here on this girl in the middle, freeing up this low post to go play and be the adjacent defender she needs to be when she's ball side. So we'll let this run, and you'll see what happens here. Now this becomes the ball side. So now everybody's got to kind of shift, right? So this is ball side. This elbow now has to start coming out. This low post defender is in good position. This low post is covering two players. And this elbow, you see her running down to the crease to help out on the backside. Again, backside, ball side. It's really important in our defenses to understand the differences. So you're going to see where we can run into some problems. So we talk a lot about setting the edge. So our top defender here, we have to get our hips squared off. And our backside should be facing right now, when the ball's on this side of the field, the backside should be facing this sideline. Your shoulders should be square to the defender, and you're forcing her down this way. We never want to see the player go across us in this direction. So what's not good is if the offensive player with the ball goes this way. We don't ever want to see that. What we want to see is the ball going down the field on the sides. And you'll see what happens when we don't set the edge. See, we don't set the edge. So now this ball side elbow defender, this ball side low post, as the ball starts to go to the other side of the field, you see what's happening. It just looks like chaos. Everybody's scrambling. You have this elbow now sprinting to get out. She can easily get herself into shooting space in a situation like this. We have a low post defender that's still covering too because she was just on the backside. Now she's got to get out and play this kid. We have an elbow right here that was all the way out. The elbows have a lot of space to cover. So she's all the way out because she was doing the right thing. She was on the ball side. But as the ball moves away so quickly, because we're not setting the edge, she's got to try to get back inside. And it's just too hard to do it in the defenses that we run. So watch this again and you'll see it just looks like chaos as the ball changes. Now you have everybody running around and scrambling, which is exactly what we don't want. We do a pretty good job of recovering. We're going to take a look at another clip where we run into the same problem. So here we are again, right? We want to go ball side, backside. We want to make sure we force her down the side. Don't let her set the edge. And I'm sorry, don't let her go inside. Make sure you set the edge. And let's not make sure that this chaos happens in here. And then we have one more look at what we talk about when we talk about setting the edge. All right, so here's another look at what happens when we don't set the edge well. Defensively, you see the ball moving around. Again, let's just for the sake of making sure that everybody sees it again, let's see what we're looking at here with ball side and backside. So the ball's here. We have the ball side elbow, ball side low post. Look at our backside low post. She's working her way all the way inside to help out and make sure that she's going to help with the inside player because she's on the backside. These players should be lower and down inside, even if they have to be down on the line for the 8 meter. They're down inside and helping out. This player right here doing a good job of looking inside to make sure that we know what's happening on the inside when we're off ball side. Again, this is our off ball side right here where I'm moving the mouse. This is our ball side. So as the ball moves, it's okay, but right here we have to set the edge. You can see it. You see what's happening away from the ball. I know one of the things that we say a lot to you when we're watching film as a team, you can learn a lot about lacrosse when you're not watching the ball. And especially on the defensive side of the field, you should, when you're watching film, look at what's happening away from the ball. If we set the edge here and force the ball down the side, what we're doing is we're forcing the ball into defenders. We have the adjacent elbow right here, ready to play defense right away. We have the adjacent low post or the ball side low post. That's just making sure that these top players know that there's a cutter here so she can go back out and play on her ball side low post. We have our off ball low post looking to the inside, our off ball elbow on the inside. So that only works, though, when we set the edge. When we don't set the edge and we allow this girl to cross in front of our face, you see chaos. We have an elbow right now. Looks like she's going to fall because she's got to change direction so quickly. She's got to come back out. We have a top defender who was splitting two, now has to worry about, okay, am I sliding? Am I worried about this adjacent player? We have an elbow who was ball side. Now she's got to scramble to come back in, because now she just so quickly turned into an off-ball elbow. Fortunately, they throw the ball away, but still we're just in chaos because we just didn't set the edge there. We don't set the edge again, and you see all the problems that are happening on the inside. So we always have to make sure, especially if we're the top defenders and the elbow defenders, the people who are really covering the ball in space, we really have to make sure we're setting the edge and forcing the ball like we looked at earlier with the arrow, going down to the outside and forcing the ball to X. All right, and one more problem or issue that we're going to point out is exactly what we should be doing when we're on the backside. I know we've spoken a lot in this video about ball side and backside. That's because it is so important for our defenses that we understand what our responsibilities are when we're either on the ball side of the field or the backside of the field. When we are backside, everything that you should be thinking about is based on cutters, on kids coming into the middle, cutters leaving your zone, cutters coming into the inside, and making sure that we're cleaning up those cutters. So we'll take a look at it here, and we'll take a look at what our backside defenders are doing. So right now, again, this is the ball side of the field. Ball's over here. This is the back side of the field. So we have a backside elbow, a backside low post who's coming back in, and we have the two top players, right? They're really kind of considered backside at this point because the ball is so low. We have a ball side elbow moving out to the ball side low post going out to play the ball, and this is our backer right here just following the ball around the field. So now, oftentimes, what happens is when you're backside, that's not the time to relax. That's not the time to kind of just think about your zone and your job only. It's really the time where you should be the most active, at least mentally, in the defense, thinking about what you should be doing. So we'll take a look here at what happens. Now, this girl's going to drive a little bit. She's going to stop, make hand contact with her, but she's able to feed the ball to the inside. And our goalie comes up with one of many outstanding saves in this game. It really kept us in the game. But she wouldn't have had to if we did a better job with our off-ball defense. So I just went back real quick, but we'll just pay attention to these players right here. These are our three off-ball defenders. You'll notice what they're doing. They're kind of looking at their cutters, but they're also not focused solely on the cutters that are in their zones, right? We had a lot of ball watching here, and a player looking up in this spot right here. And then look what happens. This girl right here is going to come free. And she ends up being open on the inside the 8. We have to do a better job with our off-ball defense. And that's something that we'll be talking a lot about this year. There's a lot of things that we could fix defensively from last season. And hopefully this video was helpful for you, first of all, to see the things that we do well. I mean, I think we do a lot more well than we do things poorly. But, there's always room for improvement. There's always things that we can kind of clean up with what we do. We're going to be practicing these things, drilling these things constantly when the season begins. Ideally, we'll be drilling them and practicing them often, even before the season begins. So hopefully you guys will watch this video more than once, maybe learn a thing or two from it. And obviously, of course, if there's ever any questions, just let us know. Have a great night.